The Journeyman series yielded one of the most interesting signings I've seen for a while.
Check out this guy too. I found I did try starting him for a couple games to see if it could work. He was
I can,
so slow.
to be fair, if I was animated in game, this is probably what my physical attributes would look like. And that signing got me thinking, what if we assembled the oldest team we possibly could in Football Manager? Would it be possible to win a league with the oldest team possible? So this short list I have assembled here contains the oldest players in my Football Manager database, with the oldest player being King Kazu, the 56-year-old Japanese player, and the youngest player being 41-year-old Algerian Nadir Belhash. I will note there are some older players in Football Manager, but I've tried to assemble a full squad here. So it should be the oldest players at each position. The other thing is too, there are some players who are older, but they're also coaches or head coaches. So like they're coach and player for their club. And I can't unfortunately have those guys just be players. So if I were to move them to a new team, they would go in as a coach or a staff role. So these are all the oldest players who, when you transfer them to a new club, they can be transferred as players. So this is the full team here, and I will say Kazuyoshi Miura here, King Kazu is one of my favorite players, period. Not just in Football Manager, but ever. He's such a fun player. And honestly, he still looked really good, so I really hope he ends up being in the team. I mean, at 56 years old, he has a natural fitness of 20. And he started playing his career in 1982. That was more than a decade before I was born. But as you guys can see here, we have players at each position, so we do have a full squad. And looking at the squad here that we're going to be playing with, if we look at the attributes, it's pretty interesting because technically these are goalkeepers, but technically some of these players are actually really good. If we just sort by technical attributes, there's a lot of yellow in there. There's a lot of 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So a lot of the players are pretty good technically. And of course, if you've been playing for this long, mentally, you're going to be really solid. As you guys can see here, tons of good attributes mentally. But unsurprisingly, when every player is over 40 years old, the big issue is going to be the physical attributes. If we just go by pace here, we have one player with over 10 pace, and everyone else is so slow. We even have a player down here who has one pace, and he's a center back. It's going to be tough trying to play a high line with this guy starting in center defense. But not only are we assembling the oldest team in Football Manager, I am also going to try to win a league with the oldest team in Football Manager. So I'm going to put all of these players on one team, and we're going to go to three different countries, and we're going to try to win the top division in those three countries. And if I am not able to win the league in that country, I'm going to have to do a punishment, and the punishment is going to be a 1 mile run. I've decided to move a little bit away from the push-ups for now. Let's focus on my aerobic fitness. This is apparently also helping me gain cardiorespiratory fitness channel. But for each country that I do not win the league in, I will have to run 1 mile. So maximum, I could end up doing a 3 mile run here. But the countries are going to be decided at random with the wheel. So we are going to switch over to the wheel now. All right, and here we have our wheel, and the wheel contains every single country in the base version of Football Manager, plus the Philippines as well. So this is what our wheel looks like. Let's give it a spin and see what league we get first. And our first country is going to be Iceland. That might be an interesting league. All right, so our first country here is Iceland. So to start off here, we are going with Stjarnan. So I've added the oldest players in Football Manager all into one team here. We are with Stjarnan in the Icelandic Premier Division. I'm going to be real with you guys. The most difficult part of this, I think, is going to be the tactic. In that, how do you put a tactic together for a team as slow as this one? The answer is I don't know. So to start off here, I'm just going with a kind of base tactic. Positive mentality, just slightly higher tempo. I mean, with the physical attributes of our squad and being better technically, I think maybe slightly shorter passing is better. But otherwise, it's just kind of base stuff here. There's nothing too. I'm having us drop off more because we're so slow. But otherwise, nothing too fancy here. Just for basic 4-2-3-1 stuff in FM, and we'll see how we do. There are some good players in our team, though. You can see here from the star rating. I think our best player here is Nadir Belhash. He is still okay physically, but really good technical and mental attributes. So I'm putting him as a fullback on attack because I think he'll be really good. Advanced playmaker on attack here, we have Vladimir Marin, who's also pretty good. Again, good technicals and mentals, just not very good physically. But all those guys are really good. I think our best player, though, is Esley here, the 44-year-old Brazilian. He still has a lot of really good physical attributes and pretty good all-around player. So I think he is going to be the best player in this squad. And then the other player who's pretty good is Vladan Spasojevic here. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing these names, but he's also not too bad. He'll play in the center mid position. But that's what our 4-2-3-1 looks like. Hopefully we can get the most here. I'm hoping as an advanced playmaker, he maybe sits in a little bit, and Belhash can kind of be our main source of width on the outside. We got King Kazu up top. I mean, he's a 2.5-star player in this team. So we're trying to build kind of around this left side here, I think. This is where we'll try to build the team around. I'm not going to lie, when I originally saw this league, I thought maybe we had a chance to win it. But I think I've underestimated the Icelandic Premier Division. We're projected 2,000 to 1 odds to win the league. So something tells me I'm going to be running a mile after this simulation is finished. But that's what Iceland looks like. I don't really think we have a shot to win this league, but I'm hoping by having a base tactic and seeing how some of our players do, we can start to figure out what we want to do and who we want to build around going into the next 2 leagues. I'm going to go forward with this season, and I will see you all at the end. So we did not win a match this season, and we got relegated. We finished with a grand total of 2 points this season. We were really bad. In case the table here looks weird to you guys, so the league table splits into a championship group and relegation group. We were in the relegation group, and we still did really bad. This is what our schedule looked like. We actually started off all right in the League Cup, where we actually did good against teams that were of semi-professional status. And it's not like we got out of the League Cup or anything. I think you have to finish first to qualify. But we didn't do bad, so I thought maybe this season will be all right. And then we were not all right. We just kept losing. We weren't even losing too bad, to be fair. But yeah, it just got worse and worse and really worse. We weren't getting blown out, but it just wasn't good. Yeah, and it didn't help. Our club atmosphere is abysmal now. So that was really bad. But do we have anything to build off of? Yes, we do. Moving into the next round of leagues. Esley here, who unfortunately got injured. This is the problem too with having these older players, is that physically they're not very good. So stamina's low. Other than like King Kazu, natural fitness is low. And we end up with some injuries. And unfortunately, Esley's out for a while. But really solid player. 8 goals, 6 assists. He's the one we can build around. We have Nail Kyun here, who also had a pretty good season. 47-year-old South Korean. And like, he still has some stuff intact. He's not too bad. So we have 2 players here who I think we can build around. But the real problem here is the defense. As you guys can see here, the average ratings are pretty bad. And most of the really bad average ratings here are in those defensive positions. It's very difficult to have good defenders here, given, center backs and right backs with really, really poor physicals. They're just being outrun. But yeah, this sim was not super successful. Let's see where we're going for league number 2. Okay, let's see who we're going to get in league number 2 now. So we're going to go for a second spin here. Iceland is off the board. And it looks like we're going to get Serbia. I've never managed in Serbia before. This should be fun. So we have moved to Serbia and the Serbian Super League. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I think this one is worse than the previous one, but we are with IMT in the Serbian Super League. So with no real plan, to be honest, at this point, we're trying to cook with a different tactic here. So we're gonna go two up top, but I think King Kazu up top maybe struggled a little bit. We still got Esley in the middle here, but we're going with kind of a 4-3-3 with an offset. I think we just need a little bit more striking power. Like King Kazu, as much as I love this guy, the 4 pace, the 4 jumping reach, he can't do this on his own. So he needs a striking partner, and that striking partner comes in Andres Rivas, who is also quite slow, but he's got good jumping reach and heading, so that I'm hoping that by him being on this side, he might get up against fullbacks a lot of the time, who generally have lower jumping reach. So that might help him to get some goals. Niall Kuhn here, he's got good crossing, so hopefully he can put a ball into the box for them. In the middle, we still have players like Esley and Spasovic as well. And then we have Belhaj as that fullback on attack, being the main source of width. I'm going to be real with you guys. We're not going to win the league. We're going to be at 2 miles after this. There's something tells me I'm going to be doing a lot of running after this football manager challenge. But yeah, we're predicted to finish 2,000 to 1 odds to win the league. This isn't going to be good. While the wheel hasn't absolutely destroyed us so far, it definitely hasn't been super kind to us. But let's see what we can do here. Can we do better in the Serbian Super League than we did in Iceland? Let's find out. The answer is no. We were significantly worse than we were in Iceland. 0 wins, 1 draw, 36 losses, and 1 point. Yeah, this was absolutely brutal. We weren't even. I mean, the 3-2 at the beginning, right? I had some hope here. I was like, oh, that wasn't bad, and then it got really bad. 10-0 there, 7-0 there. Yeah, we had a tough season. Yeah, it was. We had some things to work off with. Andres Rivas had a good season, 5 goals, all with his head. So that was good. King Kazu getting 3 goals, the striking partnership getting 8 goals total. The only problem with that is that Esley had 8 goals last season by himself. This was tough. Yeah, this is a tough challenge. It's we need the wheel to be kind to us for the last league here. We need like a smaller league, something that we can actually be competitive in. Because ultimately, as good as some of these players can be, one, it's just hard to have a full team of physically unadept players. But also just their current abilities are way below everyone else in the league here. I mean, there's a reason that in the season preview, we were 2,000 to 1 odds at the time. I guess we're 800 to 1 odds now. But in the end, it's just we don't have a team that can compete with these other teams. So ultimately we need a league that's going to be good for us and give us a chance. So let's see if the wheel is kinder to us with league number 3. And moving directly into the final spin here. Let's see who we've got. It could be the Philippines. Oh, it's gonna be Singapore. We were so close to the Philippines. All right, we have moved to Singapore, and this time I feel like we are in a league that we might actually have a chance to win. So we are with Balestier in Singapore, and we might have a shot here. For the first time, we have a season preview that doesn't have us in last place. We are projected to finish 7th with 50 to 1 odds to win the league. That is not so far away that we don't have a chance. So with this new league here, I'm trying to get as many players in as we can. So as much as I liked Andres Rivas, because I feel like we have a better shot here, I'm going straight 4-2-3-1. I think this is going to allow us to be a little bit more defensively solid, and hopefully that will give us a better chance to actually get results. We have not won a league game yet. I want to at least win 1 league game this season. So I wanted to bring back Esley into the attacking mid position here because his best season was that first season. And I think that's where he flourished the best. So we're bringing Esley back in here. Niall Kuhn is still that winger on attack. And I'm moving Marin into the middle here. I just think he's such a good player. We need to find a spot for him. Naturally, he's best in that attacking mid position, so we're going to try to get him there. And then, of course, we still have Belhash here. He hasn't really been great, but we're going to try our best with him. And then maybe we got King Kazu here, but maybe we'll try to get Andres Rivas in just with maybe those better physical attributes that could help him to score goals. But I don't know. I think we might have a shot here. Now that we're in a lower league as well against opposition that might not be as good, I'm also going to try a little bit more of a possession-based tactic. I don't think we're going to get overwhelmed as much, and frankly, we need to play a little bit slower and more possession-based just so that we can try to win these matches, and it'll help with like you guys can see here, the intensity isn't as high, so that helps a lot given that most of our players get tired. I'm going to play a high line though. This might be a mistake mid block with high line, but we can't press high, but we still need to get up the pitch just because like Football Manager Match Engine likes that better. So we're gonna try all of this. I have no idea if this is gonna work or not. The first two attempts at this have been tough, but we have a shot here to at least win a few matches. Even if we don't win the league, if we can just win a few matches, if we finish like 7th or higher, 8th or higher, as long as we don't finish in last place, I will be so happy if we don't finish in last place. But this is it. This is the final league. I'm at 2 miles right now. It would be an amazing surprise to not have to run a 3rd mile. But let's see what things look like at the end of the season. We finished in last place again. We were so close, man. We were 1 point off being an 8. We had better goal differential, but it wasn't to be. However, we did win 5 league matches this season and got 3 draws. This is the same number of draws we got in the last 2 leagues. And we won 5 matches. So at least we did better than before. We were kind of cooking at the beginning of the season. We got a 7-2 win. And Ashley had 4 goals in that match, and I was really excited. And then we didn't win a game again until June. And then we got 2 wins on the bounce, and we were actually kind of all right towards the end of the season. But it wasn't enough to not be in last place. As far as the squad is concerned, King Kazu actually had a really good season. So he had 10 goals and 11 assists. He was really well. As you guys can see here, Andres Rivas didn't play a whole lot just because King Kazu was so good. Ashley got 15 goals. He's definitely the star player in this older group. But it was a much better season. Like Niall Kuhn was good, Vladimir Marin was good. It's just in defense where like we had the really poor average ratings. As you guys can see here, we allowed the most goals in the league. That's not super surprising. But we weren't so bad for scoring goals. We were actually kind of mid-ish table for scoring goals. I guess we weren't really mid-table. Lower end of mid-table. But alas, we did not win the league, so I have to run 3 miles now. At least I'm going to be a lot fitter by the end of this. By the time this channel finishes, I will at least be a much fitter person than I am currently. I will say too, my takeaway from this is that older players like definitely have their place in Football Manager. Like Ashley here isn't bad, and a lot of the players aren't bad, but you can't have a full team of players who just don't have physical attributes. Like they have their place in a squad, especially older players, right? Because a lot of these guys have good mental attributes. They're probably good mentors for a lot of players. And these players can play 1 or 2 positions in a lower league squad. Like Ashley could totally play. You just can't have 11 players with 9 pace. But 1 or 2 players like this can really shine in a much more physically adept squad. You just can't have an entire starting lineup of players who physically aren't very good. But all right, that's everything I've got for this Football Manager challenge. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. We're going to cut to me running now. All right, the weather outside has been absolutely terrible, so unfortunately I have to do this on the treadmill, which I'm not a fan of treadmill running, but this is about to be the slowest 3 miles in maybe ever. And here we go. We will start, and our 3 miles begins right about now. All right, I'm very shaky, but that is mile number 1 done. And we have 1 mile to go. Almost there. And we have finally made it to 3 miles. Man, I used to play 90-minute soccer matches. I don't know how I did that.
I couldn't do that anymore. Well, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.